Hey everybody, welcome back into the porch, the WoodHaven porch. I'm Mike Pentecost, this is Terry Sullivan, and we want to talk to you today about getting kids involved in turkey hunting, getting kids involved in general.
Yeah.
We have had the benefit of being a little older, and when we actually got to know each other and moved into our hunting relationship, as
Yeah.
friends and everything, and then
hmm
but as that unfolded, you as that father figure, grandfather, I had somebody with me that was able to step into that role of helping mentor the children. Meaning Jacob and Isaac.
hmm
Michael's actually went some with us. We I have four children:
hmm
Benjamin, Micah, Isaac,
hmm
and Jacob, and they're now 21, 17, 14, and 13. And obviously, Jacob and Isaac has been with us a good bit and hunting and everything. Just talking about my four children, we've
hmm
seen them all win Grand National Championships. I mean,
Absolutely.
four siblings. I mean, who would have thunk it?
Yeah. Mike lives in a house full of Grand
Yeah,
National champions and
but
state champions and
calling, obviously having turkey calls in Woodhaven and
oh
stuff
yeah,
around. We deer hunters and turkey hunters and done a
yeah,
little coat shooting, hog shooting every
oh
now and then somewhere.
yeah,
But that was obviously important to me. And
Mhm.
you have grandchildren coming on
oh
now and
yeah,
getting them involved. And
yeah,
I think it's a very unique opportunity to show people with the knowledge that we've learned hunting with the kid. I mean, Jacob and Isaac especially, we spend a
hmm
lot of time with them. And it's almost like a technique that you, or a plan that you could develop to
yeah,
get your kids in the outdoors and
hmm
actually learn from the things that we've learned and learning how
hmm
to encourage them.
yeah,
Um, you know, I started. I'll use Jacob as a good example for
hmm
me. Um, the I started taking him as young as I mean, he would go with me sometime when he was real young. But I can remember about 4 years old. He and I went into a spot that I had knew was
hmm
turkeys was there,
yeah,
and just to interject into him that walking, I picked a road that was
yeah,
in little short legs, but he
hmm
could go, that was not rough on him, and I thought it would be. And and I was so encouraged that day about how he said, "Dad, let's go a little further. Let's go a little."
wow,
And so I was able to use that as a measuring stick to see his interest. I didn't want to burn him out. I
yeah,
mean, that's one thing. You don't want to take a kid when they don't want to go.
yeah,
But he was just, I think he just wanted to be out there with me and just be out. And he was just, I let him, we had his little snack bag and,
yeah,
and let him tote a decoy bag and just, he was involved.
yeah,
And I think that's very important just to get them involved and try to train that mindset of the outdoors is fun and then you're having special time with your children just
hmm
away from all the outside Xboxes and
yeah,
everything. But I can remember that day in particular when that he got out there and enjoyed it. We built a little nest. I let him use the shears and stuff,
oh
and let
yeah,
him build. He took the little sticks. He thought that, but
hmm
see, that's fun. Let him build that little fort or that little blind or everything.
yeah,
Involve them in those aspects of this. The fun about being outdoors, showing them turkey tracks, deer tracks,
hmm
coyote tracks. You're teaching them about those aspects in the outdoors.
yeah,
Um, Hearing sounds,
hmm
listening and saying, well, that's a turkey hen or that's a turkey he just
hmm
gobbled, and he let him understand that. So, but that was an instigated uh, starting point for me with the kids in general. I mean, I remember taking Benjamin that when he was like, I think Benjamin was 7, and he's the oldest. And he and I just went up behind the house, had a little
yeah,
property and everything, and got him up in a little, tree stand. And
hmm
again, it's the time together, showing
that
him the
that's what
aspects of
counts.
everything. We had practiced gun safety. That's a big thing.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
so you wouldn't want to use a gun that's too big.
Yeah.
We train with BB guns and how to shoot and hit the paper or
hmm
get a bail or the solo cup deal so that they feel that ting, that
Yep.
ting, nothing that ricochets. Always teaching them the proper how to point the gun, handle the gun. The gun is a weapon. It's a tool. Use it properly. Handle it properly.
Yeah.
And then we eased up into 22s and stuff, and you shoot again. Have something that's fun to do. Make sure they understand. Always be safe. And I'm so
Yeah.
proud of the way the kids
They
have done.
do good.
You've seen.
Really good. You've taught them well on that.
Well, I mean, even this being in pressure situations, as they grow, when they start to, you have to really control the aspects of the what could be dangerous, and that's the weapon more than anything.
Yeah.
But we worked with them with shooting and knowing, teaching them to breathe and have their eyes on the target, and knowing what was there, when to shoot, when to not shoot, what was good. Well, you got to teach them those things, and you got to go with them and keep them involved to do that.
Yeah.
But I remember Benjamin, and he killed his first deer right there at the house, and it's the only deer he's ever killed, and he killed the deer and everything, and he just, I gave him time to walk out there and be with it and everything, and just let him. But I have to remember too that I'm the adult. You can't put that pressure on. If I'd have seen a big buck come up, that was Benjamin's hunt. I don't need to jerk the gun out of his hand and say, "Hey, that's a." You got to take yourself out of it. You got to put yourself totally into focus with them. But talking about the gun safety issues, we always made sure we wore hearing protection, practicing, and even when I remember Robin, your game ear things,
Walker game ear.
Yeah, you had some that had the microphone and they could hear and everything, but we knew there was times, that we might have not had the right, and I can remember me and you almost paying the price, but that Micah went on she's gone on some deer hunts and stuff, and she killed me and you and Scott, and we went up to Illinois on a special youth hunt.
Yeah, that was a good hunt.
Tell us about what you remember about that. I mean, because that was her first deer.
Yeah. Well, it was just fun being out there and getting her involved, and she really enjoyed it.
I think she did.
She had a good time, and like I said, she pulled it off. She
Made
killed
a good
nice
shot.
deer.
Nice 8-point, and Isaac was with us that trip too. We was trying to get him one too, and but Isaac, he's had the hard. He's drawn the short stick a lot of times, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that joker can kill a deer.
Yeah, he can, and
he got ice water vein.
Well, you sit with him some with the crossbow. That's true. You can tell us about, because I mean
he don't get nervous till after he kills the deer. But up to that, he's got his routine, and he knows, just like you've trained him. Get on him, get that safety, and he's real safe. And like I said, he's just smooth.
I think that, and as they grow older, they become more savvy.
Yeah.
They actually get hunting savvy too.
Yeah.
And
the older they get, I can tell.
But going back to what you just said there, I mean that the familiarity, to me, making everything as familiar to them, the process of the practicing and everything is teaching them. I always teach my kids to keep that finger point off that safety. Never, that finger never comes down with whatever. If it's a release on a bow, crossbow, or whatever. Those little simple things. Safety. And if you just they understand. They understand. If you talk about be safe, think, make sure the safety's on. If you reiterate that all the time, they understand. They pick up very quickly that's what is expected. We've got to be safe. This is, I think they do anyway.
Isaac, to me, he's got like a checklist he goes through, and he knows just what to do, and he goes down and he don't get shook up. He knows he's got certain things to do, and like I said, now after the shot, he gets
he gets excited, and that's good. That's the stuff you want to. That's the stuff you want to see is the excitement of the outdoors, whether they killed or not. And I think that goes back to being the adult. We can't emphasize enough about taking that hunter killer instinct. It's got to be, remember that you're out there for them. Whatever time you've set aside, whether it's practicing, walking in the woods, don't overdo it. Take them snacks, make it fun. Show them let them pick a flower. They're different age groups, Now
Yeah.
mine is 13 and 14. I mean, Jacob, he just wants to go kill them. I mean, he loves to call
Yeah.
and kill them and go. And we learned a lot with him last year. He had just never could have his gun in the right spot.
Yeah.
Turkey would come up, or he just had issue after issue. And already this year, you guys stay tuned because we got some stuff. A hunt that just didn't really go down on film like it wanted to for the YouTube channel and stuff, but behind the scenes breakdown of a hunt that Jacob had recently where he killed a turkey, made a big big boy move on a turkey, getting the gun around. He did that at the end of the year last year, one of his hunts in Tennessee. His gun, he got cold and tired and he'd let the gun down in his lap and the turkey showed up silent, just kind of stepped in there and he was there and Dylan said, "Hey man, I'm on him," and Jacob was able to ease around there. So he was learning. It's a good process to see your kids learn and you get proud of them. Gosh, I mean, the joy. You've been taking Noah some now, so that joy.
Yeah, just make it fun and hunt. As long as he wants to. If he gets tired, we'll go to the house.
Right. Go get some of Grandma's biscuits.
Yes, sir. Yeah, have a good time.
This time I'm ready to go, Granddad.
Yep.
I can remember back years ago, I had Micah and Benjamin out on a turkey hunt, and that's a heck of a story too. Micah called me one time.
Really?
Yeah, she was 5 years old. Me and her,
Oh,
but Benjamin went turkey hunting one morning, and we kind of walked up, and came around and had some turkeys gobbling, working, whatever, and we were on our way out. I mean, they said, "Dad, we'd done eating our snacks and our drink boxes and stuff," and when we were walking our way out and everything, and I said, "Well, baby girl," I handed her my box call, and she could run a box now. She can run, and those guys have been. I'm again blessed to have the talent and they enjoyed it, and it's fun. But she stroked that box call, and a turkey gobbled down in a laurel thicket, and I told her, I said, "Baby, you just sit right here, and you yelp anytime you think it feels right." So she would cluck, cluck, yawk, 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 just like and wound up calling that turkey right into me. She's awesome. too young for a gun. Excuse me. And but that was fun.
Yeah.
But then I can remember going out with her prior to that, other times and before she really didn't. She's just the gun wasn't an issue yet, but we would go out after the season or late, when the danger of her being out there, and we would go. She would go with me, and we'd go listen to turkeys and stuff, and and I remember she was young that one year, and we was out and we'd heard some gobble and everything, and and she looked over me. She said, "I'm ready to go to Huddle House now." She's ready to eat. She's all about going find something to eat. But that was just again, when she was ready to go, it's time to go. So back to our points: keep it simple. Keep it about them. Take yourself and your hunter instinct out of it. Your killer instinct. Be the parent or grandparent or mentor to teach them about the outdoors and what's good about it, and that God gave it to us.
Amen,
and
brother.
To appreciate it. The sights and sounds, owls, crows, let them understand. Crickets, whatever's going on, try to get them involved. That's something that too. Let them blow an owl hooter. Let them blow a crow call. Let them make noise and see how they interact with the critters. And I've had opportunity after opportunity to see that happen because blowing owl hooters and stuff, you got time you get that's fun. They look at you like, well, that owl that owl back at me, or that turkey gobbled. I blew that, and I think that's an important.
Yeah, they love it when they answer them back.
Well, I mean, they're involved and they get that, reaction.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
but back to what are we missing? I mean, having snacks, making sure they got clothes and boots that fit them. That's something.
Yeah, you'll see me and Noah. It was like 28 degrees. It was cold. Opening day a few years ago, and man, we had blankets and all kind. We had more gear, but we stayed warm.
You got to. I mean,
and almost got a turkey.
Well,
but we gonna get him this year.
I hear you. Talking about those aspects of this, making sure they. Food, snack, making sure the boots, that's a big thing. Walking and trying to be out there, and if it's just no fun for them, they're not going to come back to it. So you've been having the proper clothes that fit and everything instead of handing me down this arms are sticking. You know, it's better to try to spend that time, alter them, fix it, something. You know, or either buy. They've got so many good manufacturers of clothing, camouflage clothing nowadays, and the undergarments. You know, to keep them warm. Those they got so much selection in youth size and stuff now. It just seems like it's a lot easier than it used to be.
Kyle was showing me some bottomland he'd got for Will, you know.
Ready to go turkey hunt.
Yeah, it looked really good.
That's cool. But I mean, back to aspects of that I know that we learned with Jacob. That, you know, he was a 6-year-old. I wanted him to go when he was 5. And he was shooting the gun. We were practicing, teaching him ear protection, how to shoot the gun, set it up. We'd already done the BB gun, the pellet gun, the 22, and you know, and then when it got time to shoot, you know, I got a 410, set it up, thought that thing through about how I was setting it up. I've always been just a vent rib, you know, getting down, and I realized that's really putting your cheek down to get down, and you was going to have to try to teach a young person how to look down that vent rib and keep that you know, to make sure you're, you know, on the turkey. You know how you got to
shoot over.
Yeah, you shoot. And so that's the first time I'd ever looked into sights.
Oh.
And I did some quick research and just went with a little sight. I think it was a True Glow. Put it on that little gun. I think Noah's used it, borrowed it and everything. But doing that research, it made me realize that those little red dot sights, and there's a lot of them out there nowadays from, you know, they're basically a red dot sight. I mean, you got all kind of aspects of pricing and features about them, but they take the parallax out of. So you shoot those with both eyes open. So you're not you get a kid that's left eye or right eye or dominant. That's something you need. You know, you teach them how to look out there and figure out what eye is dominant and everything. But having that sight window kept their cheek up and not down, and if they put the dot on the target that you teach them. We taught ours how to shoot. Remember, we had bubbles. Shoot the bubbles.
Shoot them bubbles.
Wattles became bubbles on the turkey. So, you know, in perspective, I mean, we taught them on a deer how to come up the front leg and then down the middle. You know, that was you know, just if you put the crosshair and up the back leg and on the middle of the deer, then if that X is in the right spot, touch your trigger. But then on a turkey, you know, we talked about it. A turkey's head, like if he's moving or walking, that's what's, you know, this is moving a lot. You know, and I always was, when I was hunting and killing turkeys, I mean, I was putting that bead right there, and I was shooting the head. I always aimed at the head. But my whole thought process, I even learned myself a different thought process in training the kids. That moves a lot. The wattles and where the neck doesn't have near that range of, you know, how the turkey does the head jerk. So I didn't want them looking at that. I wanted them to look at them wattles, what they call the bubbles. So that was they always know now. They put that dot, and what we did when we patterned our guns, we had the point of aim here and the center of impact all up here. So I mean, their point of aim was right here in the center of the impact. That's just setting the gun up with the sight and everything. But it allowed them to get their cheek up, keep both eyes open, and not a lot of head movement, because they can, you know, learn to stay with the turkey when they, you know, try to train them to stay, like if a hen or something, a turkey we wasn't going to shoot, you know, try to get on a target and stay with it and everything. Let them practice on something like pick a blade of grass or a possum that walks through, or a bird that flies. Just practice getting on that spot. You know, sometimes makes just giving them a chance to practice. And then we shot with light loads. You remember when we let them the whole process of letting them do the gun's ready. And key point here, until they are able to understand the process of the safety going on and off, I always kept that to myself. You know, that I will take the safety off when. You remember that? I would always, the safety stayed on until, you know, and I'd say, I'm taking the safe off. You know, and then click that, and then I said, it's hot, but it wasn't just a rushed overnight deal. They got used to those processes and hearing those words. So we trained like that. When we would be practicing our shooting, we would practice, and I'm saying, okay, I'm taking the safe off. It's hot. When you're ready, make sure you're on your target, and even they're practicing in the range. But we used AA lightest loads as we could get so that they could go through the motion without any punishment.
Yeah.
And then we learned how to set them up with sticks, either X sticks or something. Remember how we were because the weight of the gun is very, especially the younger they are and the less physical they are, the weight of the gun is more than anything. And sometimes you got to hold that thing a long time to wait on a turkey to come in range. You can't just pick it up because of the eyes and everything. But, we learned, and I'd be very, very keen to have to have that thought process and practice with. Don't you agree?
I do, yeah. It really helped the boys, I think, being able to put it on them, keep it right on them.
We tried different ones, and I don't know if any of them was right or wrong with either one.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I really liked was that little X-blind thing.
Yeah.
We had the little cloth, and
that was good.
And that was we used that pretty good bit, and then we have just cut sticks.
Yep.
We have just cut a little Y stick and trimmed it off, and thought, now that's where we need to be. Using blinds.
Yep. That really helped with the kids too.
I mean, it put a little extra work on us, toting and stuff, but it allowed them to get away with stuff.
They can move, and they ain't got to be still.
I mean, it's hard to just make them sit there and just be. Oh,
Yeah.
you got to be still. Oh, you got to be. You got to teach that, but you can't be down on them. In my opinion, you don't want to be hard on them, saying, "Oh, you got to be still." No, you got to say, "Come on, let's be a little quieter now," or
But they did good.
Being in the blinds, though, to
really
me,
helped too.
It helped teach that what they could get away with. And I saw them, but again, it seemed like they responded really well. If you just teach them and show them, they're trainable. They're learnable.
Yeah.
They know they're going to pick up on what you want to done. But I think that was a big key.
Yeah.
The blinds allowed them to get away with stuff and could sit down and play or something. Me and you could look for turkeys or deer or something, but and then get the kid involved when there's something to see.
Yeah.
Not just if they don't want to see, but that comfort that goes back into the comfort and ability to let them stay longer. Get them out a little bit out of the wind or the whatever and. Cold. Sometimes you can kind of get inside those. I mean, it covers up all that movement and a little extra noise. It covers a lot of extra noise and stuff up. And but then we shot with sights. We shot with light loads. Practice on sticks to hold the weight of the gun up, not let it be where it was attacks on them. And then let them use the call.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, they having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to kill a turkey, and we want to get, but. We don't have to go home with a dead animal, dead turkey or anything. You can go home with memories of them. And if they miss, we need to, obviously anything can happen. Even adults miss and make mistakes. But if a kid misses, we don't need to be down on it, and we need to try to explain, okay, what, this might have happened. It's okay. It's okay. Or you may have, if they wound an animal or something. We don't ever want that to happen. But still, if it does, don't make them feel like they did something wrong. We've got to work through that process of just being there, still with them, and being conscientious of the fact that you're still teaching, you're still working. You get them next time, but what did we do wrong? How could we make it better? We have to learn to still teach them that. Don't you? I mean,
absolutely.
I'm trying to think of any that we might have. Oh, I remember one right off the bat. Isaac missed one down there in Florida that came up and got. And came in and got all herky-jerky on us. It kicked the decoy over, and it might have been somebody else was filming.
Scott might have been with you on that film.
And but that he didn't do anything wrong. I mean but you gotta you don't want them to get in a position that they feel like they've done something wrong. But those things, I'm trying to go through that checklist. I'm maybe going over it. ABC times, comfortable clothes, boots, make sure they're comfortable, drinks, snacks, something fun for them to do, whether it's a little game or whatever, and the hearing protection. I mean, make sure that's on there in their practice. If they get used to it when you're practicing shooting, they'll put it on when they're. Now, the one that we used with them too was, and we wound up getting them, was the ones that had the batteries in them and they could hear the same. So we learned how to turn them barely on. Remember, because they could hear us whispering and everything. Of course, they got to hear the critters too. I mean, they already got good ears. You know, most children. You know, but that allowed us to whisper to them and still, you know, here he comes. Get on that big strutter, or there's one to, you know, we was able to talk low and they could hear that because of amplification. So that's a good tip right there, because they have that noise canceling, those kind of
I really like those.
You know, muffs. They have the noise canceling, so when you do shoot, it just blanks it out, so you don't want hearing damage. You know, and I noticed that, especially in Jacob and Isaac, their ears were very sensitive. They never have like loud sounds, and I mean that's just that's one of the big negatives. They know the gun makes noise and everything. As long as you protect them from that, I think think we're winning. And you know, and as a aspect of getting kids involved, we don't want to hurt their ears, and we don't want them. Again, don't shoot too big a gun. Giving that little kid that 12 gauge and everything, he may love it, but you may ruin him too. You punish him with something that's out of his league. You know, there's so much available now. Light loads, whether it's shotguns or just guns, but 22s, something they can practice with and understand that they're economically learning too. To look, make sure sights is right. There's your target. Make sure nothing behind it. I think those are all very, very important things that we work through with them. And I mean, bringing up points to get kids in the outdoors. Again, we're just kind of talking about what we know with ours and try to share it so somebody else can pick up on points. You know. I was thinking of anything else. I mean, other than, like I said, got to have those refreshments, drinks. You know, don't want them to get dehydrated, and don't go too long. When they're ready to go, or it's hot or it's cold, let's get them. You know, let's go make an adventure and come back and we'll work on next time. You know. What do you think? So I mean, if you sometimes it's easy to say, okay, you know, your kid's ready to go and it's 4:15, getting to be prime time in the deer stand. You think, hey, let's just stay 15 more minutes, you know, or just a little bit longer, because you know their chances of killing one are getting better as the evening. You know, the deer usually start feeding that time, and but I don't know. You know of any other things that we may have missed? I mean,
that pretty much covers.
You know, one thing we did the backpack deal. We did those youth size turkey vest type thing that had to fold down, so they could sit down in that anywhere, anytime they could fold. That's a cool thing to look at too. They have those youth size vests now, and even when they were younger, carrying that backpack, making them have ownership, learning that process of this is yours, you work on this. Even though I got them their own binoculars and stuff like that too. Didn't have to be expensive. Might have been something I hand down, but making them have ownership, and they learn to just pick up and learn. Show them what they'll learn about the eye optics and how to make. Then it seems like they enjoy that.
They love that.
They can pick the binoculars up and look at stuff, and I mean, all aspects of it is a learning curve to me. And the more that you give them to learn, and the more they take ownership of that, I think that's key. In the process, don't you? I mean,
sure is. And you done really good. I mean, them boys, they got it down now, and they about to get so big. They don't need us.
The day's coming real quick, and I'm dreading it. But you know, they already asking me, can they go by themselves? And I know a lot of that goes back to an aspect that we just need to touch. You have to learn your kid and his or her abilities. You've got to test. Don't try to push it too quick, and don't. I mean, I thought Jacob was going to start turkey hunting and shooting about 5. He was shooting. I just didn't feel like he was comfortable enough doing what I thought was going to need to be done. I mean, making sure he was. So I have made that conscientious choice to let it be to the next year. And when he was 6, we went. And once he killed that first one, we knew he had it. You know, he.
At 410s. Really, and especially the shells they got today. That's a good way to start it.
It is, and those sights, the big thing there. Again, I think we've covered a lot of those different aspects there, and you know, let them call, let them do all the things, learn all about it, and just get them out there every opportunity you can. And you know, this last hunt that we did not long ago with Jacob was a true testament of a kid coming through it. He learns, he knows his safety. You know, the first thing he does is when they shoot, you'll hear and every film that you'll hear that click. They're going to put that safe on before they move. A lot of times we even take the bullets out. You know, we unload the gun. You know, so that we don't make a mistake. You know, and that's just, those safety things are important. But you see a lot of that in this, as Jacob's getting bigger and able to handle the. You know, he learned to learn. He's loading the gun, how to point it in the right direction, and load. He's learning how the gun mechanics work and all those things. But this hunt, we went into this area and just had a turkey the afternoon before. A hen came in, and we were down below, and the hen came in and went to roost. And a gobbler came in right there and we called a little bit, and he looked down there, but his hen just, you know, and I guess he was ready, and he kind of did the pirouette and went back up here and kind of went to roost too. So we went in this, so we kind of knew where these turkeys were from the afternoon before, and we came back in the next morning and set up in this area. Turkeys gobbled to our left and out. And we didn't really know, but we heard a big turkey fly down. I thought there was a gobbler closer than the one that was gobbling. And we had that, you know, and that's something that's key too. Hens are lighter and they don't make quite as much noise flying down, and the gobblers do. And but we'd heard a couple turkeys fly down, and we were setting up thinking that they were going to come the way they went out yesterday. And for whatever reason, I mean, I'm calling and talking and getting some response. And Dylan and Jacob were right out in front of me a little bit. And, you know, I thought I had heard some drumming behind me and off to my right shoulder.
Wow.
And, you know, and I'm looking at Dylan, and actually, with the age of these gadgets and these, I texted him, you know, let's hang in here. The turkeys just didn't come out there and we just sit here and be patient a little bit, see what's going to go on. It seemed like we had a little bit of hen yelping and 5 or 6 gobbles over a period of time right there, and answered me. But and this turkey that came from behind us. But I let Dylan know that I heard drumming, and it happened so quick. The drum, I had heard it, and then I was, you know, and then I was convinced I heard it. Then I knew I heard it, and then all of a sudden, it's like I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find, you know, and then I'll get about like that, and I can see that they're in a turkey gobble. That's what it was. Turkey gobbled right behind us, and then I went ahead and totally got like this against a tree, and doggone, there he was, all of his glory. He's right there, and he's got us pinned. He's coming from behind us. Dylan and Jacob are pointed that way, and I'm back here watching, but I'm off to the pivot a little bit, you know, and I'm trying to pull the turkey, and the turkey's right there, and that joker comes down in there and does the 30-minute parade. He do that and stand there and look, stand and look, and stand and look, and then, you know, and then, you know, he just zigzag, came right by the tree. I had moved after the turkey answered me.
Really?
I moved down a little bit to try to
pull him around.
Yeah, the Jacob and Dylan are like this. Dylan's got the camera, Jacob's got the gun, and I'm back here. Well, when they answered, then they were here, so I moved down. So sorry to call it. I'm trying to. So he comes right to the tree that I was at back here. You know, I'm like this, all leaned down on the tree. Dylan and Jacob are pinned, and there ain't nothing they can do. Turkey's coming in from behind us, and just being patient though. That was a good thing. Jacob held his water too, didn't get too shook up. We're in past, he's really got shook up when one come like that. But Dylan was pinned, couldn't do nothing. And I had a GoPro sitting right there, and I couldn't do nothing with it because, I mean, this joker coming, he's looking me in the eye. He's just steps from me. And and I was like, come on, old gobbler, just, you know, Lord, let him just step away. And I mean, he's like a script. He stepped over a little grassy lane we had there, and they're sitting up on that, and that joker went down, and when I knew his head wasn't, I got the GoPro on and turned it around, and so I could film Jacob and Dylan still just pinned, you know, we've been pinned and pinned down and we're all cramping, and because we've been feeling like we, in a bad way for all this time. And I repositioned and got the GoPro on, and I know I called a little. I felt like I could hear him a little. Well, I think he did. He gobbled, and Jake called me. Jake replays that he gobbled in my face. He gobbled. Look, I didn't know that. I couldn't see, but I knew the turkey was down some, and I gave a little light call, and they said he came right back up. And that time, and Jacob was already making that. He had a little bit of cover down, and he knew to move that gun low, and then it got time to. He made that big boy and made a shot, and it just couldn't have been any better. Just one of them tough ones that you got to be patient, work it through. Shows the character of him and of growing up. Like I said, that one wasn't set there where the camera was all set. The turkey come, and we got it all. It's a backdoor view with a GoPro, and it was kind of a put together. But then, it turned out to be a great hunt, and I remember the morning I just felt so blessed to see Mike. He was just that adrenaline and that shake. Like I said, his heart was pumping, and he was juiced, and I just thought, man, I turned to Dylan in the morning. I said, what more could a dad want?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I mean, you'll have that time soon with Noah, and we hope that the viewers pick up some points on taking kids hunting, getting them in the outdoors. Little things make a big difference. All these points, we hope we've made them and made them clear, but there's no better feeling than, you're like Paul Notty.
It's awesome.
You've helped raise mine and seen them kill a lot of critters, and I hope Noah continues the mission with you and your family. That being in the outdoors, and we hope all children get involved in the outdoors. They are our future. You got to teach them to love and respect the great outdoors, and from the WoodHaven porch and the old podcast room itself, we want to hope that you continue to do things the WoodHaven way.